and lattes. My name is Geri Habstritt. I'm an Avesa quantum healer, medical intuitive, and your host for Light, Laughter, and Lattes. And so I want to welcome everyone to this great Wednesday. We are just a couple days out to this full moon that's coming in. This full moon is going to hit us all at the root chakra. So be aware of that, notice that. If you're feeling ungrounded or unstable or unsafe, be mindful that that's what this full moon is going to bring up in initially. And you can do some yoga or go out and be in nature. A couple of tips. I want to welcome everyone who might be listening to this via Oneness Talk Radio YouTube or Facebook. Glad to have you here. The chat is open, so I welcome anyone in the chat. Come and say hi. We'd love to know that you're here. And also all those that'll be listening later via podcast on Spotify, welcome. So today I'm excited. I have a couple guests to introduce who are coming on. They are conscious marketers. They are here to help you learn how to market your business or help you market your business in a conscious way. And so I am thrilled that there are conscious businesses that are starting up around the world to support those of us who are on an awakened journey. And this is certainly one of those. So first I'm going to introduce Shane Kipper. He's the force behind Cosmic Pulse and SacredROI, which is their marketing business. He blends over 7 years of marketing expertise with a deep-rooted passion for community and spirituality. Inspired by a life-changing drum gift during a plant ceremony, he facilitates community drum circles that unite people of all backgrounds. With SacredROI, Shane takes conscious marketing to the next level, helping businesses grow in revenue and meaningful connections. His unique approach goes beyond traditional ROI to focus on a return on interconnectedness, creating a ripple effect of positive impact across communities. And his partner, Guthrie, is a seasoned healer dedicated to fostering spiritual well-being and balance, a licensed massage therapist since 2013. Ian also specializes in energy work and sacred smoke cleansing. As a facilitator for A Course in Miracles study groups, he brings a wealth of spiritual knowledge to the table. Beyond his therapeutic skills, Ian resonates with joyful expressions of dance, song, and light language. He invites you to explore the profound impact of healing touch. And so I met both Shane and Ian at our local drumming circles, which the name, by the way, is Cosmic Pulse. So beautiful name, brings the heart and the cosmos together with the drums and the planet. And was so inspired by the work they're doing with their drumming circles and now the conscious marketing that I just had to have them on my show so you could all meet them as well. Welcome.
Hello. Hi. Thanks for having us on. We're really excited to be here.
Yes, thank you, Geri.
You bet. So tell everyone, how did the conscious marketing, how did this whole business get started?
Yeah. So like you said, I have a marketing business and I've been doing marketing for over 7 years now. And, I've been on the path of awakening for pretty much the same amount of time. My first YouTube channel was just documenting that process of awakening. And I just really shared what I was going through, what I was learning. And so I've kind of been at this place of like, I want to talk about that, the spiritual side of things, but I've had a marketing business helping, a lot of different ranges of businesses. And so I've always wanted to tie them together. And so meeting Ian, we went to a spiritual center called the Center for Spiritual Living. That's where we connected. And then the Cosmic Pulse was born, and we've been in these drum circles, and getting to know Ian has allowed me to figure out, like, we can combine our efforts of his knowledge and my knowledge in marketing to create something really impactful for spiritual healers, messengers, guides, you name it. So I'm really excited for what we're about to launch.
Yes, me as well, because especially being a business owner doing massage therapy and energy healing, I come across all these obstacles because of limiting beliefs about being, there's like this um, separation in the mind of like, oh, if you're doing this healing work, then that doesn't really mesh well with receiving money for it. And so like it's like this internal battle of just like, I want to help people and I need to be able to take care of myself. And I think that it's a beautiful idea that Jane had to put them together because there is no separation. Like we believe that this belief in separation is really what keeps us separate.
Right.
And so uh, through this program, we really want to align with our purpose so that we can do our duty of helping people awaken and heal and let people know that they're not alone, because there's so many people that are on a spiritual path or just starting out that may feel super alone. And there's a wealth of spiritual healers, but they're not getting in front of the people that need the healing. And so that's what our mission is.
Right, right. Well, you bring up a few important points, actually, or things that I'm thinking of as you share this. Yeah, the one that so many there is a challenge with many people, especially healers, who are used to nurturing others, and there is a deep belief somewhere that because you have this gift of healing, that it should be given away and you shouldn't be able to receive a balanced exchange for it, which is, I don't know where this stemmed from, but it's absolutely not true, because all the healers out there need to pay the same bills as everyone else does. And just because, an artist, their gift comes from a divine flow as well. A musician, often their gift comes from a divine flow as well. Many people in the tech world that are creating graphics and writing movies, their gift comes from a divine flow as well.
Mhm.
um, so, um, yeah, there needs to be an equal balance, and it's awesome that you're able to do that. And I do know as well too that many people who are really good with the intuitive part, the healing part, tend to not, which is more right brained, tend to not be so great at some of the left brain things like the technology and numbers and the details that go into social media and all of that. And they could use help. And to have the opportunity to have a business that's focused on conscious marketing, which hopefully is centered more around your authentic self, your soul imprint, as opposed to the marketing of the traditional outer world, which is you have to do so much of this and so much of that and say this and say that to make it. I love the options.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and you bring up a really good point about like musicians and artists and things like that, because it would seem that they're very successful, and it is a divine expression. And so like it really, in this program, we're really questioning what are our values. And so it's just like that an artist or a musician doesn't have more value than you do, as a healer. And so it's just like awakening our value and recognizing that the value that is us, the expression of the divine coming through us, is really what is needing to have a little highlight in our society, because it's very polarized as to what people are valuing. And I think that this shift in the world right now is realizing that a lot of these external things aren't really serving them,
Mhm.
and they're needing to find a way to get back in contact with that.
Mhm. Yeah, and our thing is sacred ROI, right? And so it's really finding a way to bring the sacred into the business. It's making the business sacred. It's making the money sacred. It's making the connections and the marketing sacred. Because it's almost a little matrixy, right? To do the marketing. You're on social media. You're on all these platforms that most people want to avoid. Yet at the same time, it is a free tool for us to go out there and get in front of the people that need our services. And so it's really like a paradigm shift of making them one and the same, the profit and the spirituality, or however you want to, relate the two. Because I think it's important for us to overcome that paradigm so that we can attract in that money and feel worthy of bringing that monetary success into our life. And it is a lot around the belief. So, and I think that's where this cooperation comes in really handy, is the ability to mesh the two.
Mm.
And then also simplify. There's so much out there in the world of marketing that you can buy a course anywhere you look. You could type on Google and find something. And there's a lot of people doing it, but a lot of it, I think, is very salesy. It's
Mhm.
very pushy. It's kind of a little bit where you're not getting all the information up front. Like it's like kind of secretive a little bit. And now there's an importance in knowing philosophy and how to communicate with your target market, but also doing it in a conscious way that really resonates with the right people.
Mm. Yeah, and what I really love about working with Shane is that has this wealth of knowledge of marketing. And so, like, you know, when we first met, I was just really coming into my own business, and so, like, of course, I'm doing it completely wrong.
Mhm.
I mean, he doesn't say it like that, but like,
Yeah.
he's giving me tips or whatever, and it's just like, this is like going over my head. This is this is too hard or whatever. But then, like, sitting down with him and like having the experiences that we've had where um, I can really find the connection in what he does and the spiritual meaning, like the spiritual hangups that I have, like the beliefs in lack and not being good enough, or comparing myself to other healers that seem to be having uh, you know a higher, better success, basically, and being like, well, why am I not there, and so he's helped me a lot. Um and so that's really what we want to share with people, is really making it streamlined and easy for you to feel the impact of what he does that resonates for people such as myself.
Right. Well, and there's something else that's super important. I love that you two are examples of that. Is that right now on our planet, we are needing to combine consciousness with technology. They're both good and they're both kind of necessary. The way technology is growing so rapidly and what it can do is a reflection of what we can do with our consciousness instantly. I mean,
Mm.
the technology is mirroring our conscious abilities. And so
Mhm.
back when consciousness was way, way, way down, we didn't even have an iPhone then, right? And so we were having to connect with a corded phone on the wall. And so the two are mirroring each other, but we have to be careful with our balance in that one doesn't that the technology doesn't get too strong and the egos don't get too strong, and it creates an imbalance. So it's
Mhm.
beautiful that you two are actually combining that together with your business, one being spiritually more balanced and one with the stronger marketing end of it. And it's important that you're bringing this to people so the healers and those out there can start using technology in a good way that helps them and serves them and makes them visible to all those watching. Um, share with everyone what makes your conscious marketing different than if I were to go to a regular marketing company.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I've been doing this for a long time, and I bought tons of courses. I've, worked with different coaching programs and things of that nature, which has all been helpful. I would never deter someone from going and doing that, because it's all relevant. It all helps. The only thing about it, I would say, is there's so much out there and so many different ways of marketing that you can end up getting yourself confused, buying a bunch of programs and never ending up using them. So I think the difference with what we're doing is, it's niche. We're talking to healers, spiritual messengers, people that have a gift to share with the world, um, and doing it in a way that, because we are those people. We're basically marketing to the people that we are, in a way, because with Cosmic Pulse, it is a healing organization, and with his business, he's a massage therapist and does energy work. And so, um, you know we speak the language, and we know, we've been on the path of awakening and have that greater purpose of wanting to help other people find their people, because, as a result of us being able to reach healers, we can have more impact through the people that they serve, right? And so, um I just, especially with Cosmic Pulse, I'm meeting a lot of people in our community that are healers. I mean, the majority of them are, if not all of them. I mean, I guess we all kind of are. Um, but they don't really necessarily know what they're doing. And every time I'm like, oh, I want to help you. Let me redo that for you or show you the way or whatever. Um, so this is now an opportunity to kind of condense the amount of time that it would take to help people on an individual basis, um, and then provide a, like he said, a streamlined process, because it is overwhelming. The technology is not easy. It's not an easy thing, but with the principles of consciousness and elevating your consciousness and things of that nature, I feel they tie in very well if articulated in a spiritual way. And that's what I think Ian brings to the table.
Yeah, it's like translating it to make it form into this raising consciousness, like reformat the way we think about marketing, um, so that we can get our services out there, help the most people, while also taking care of ourselves.
So do you have a few tips that you would like to share for those healers out there or massage therapists out there that are, trying to maybe get their business out the old-fashioned way by handing out flyers or hanging up some signs and word of mouth. Um,
Yeah. So, and I can talk more on maybe the left brain side while he can give the right brain
sure.
part of it. Um, but I think it's essential with crafting a message to be authentic, because in the social media world that we live in, there's so many people that have these perfect lives on Instagram and whatnot, and so it can make us think like, I have to be there already to have success. And so that in itself is disempowering. It's like, oh, well, that's going to take forever. But what I've discovered with building Cosmic Pulse is just showing up. I'll wear a beanie, or I'll just, sometimes have my shirt off. It just depends on where I'm at. But I'm just showing up. It doesn't matter that you script anything. It's definitely important to have like a framework that you operate within, but you still let spirit flow. You let it come out of you naturally, but you really need to have some structure to the content so that you know where you're going and people can follow, and you have a method of telling people what you do and telling them how to go get those services. Because I think, at least from what I've seen recently, most people don't make an offer. And that's how you get the business, is you tell people, you provide value and then you make an offer.
Yes. And with that, the being your most authentic self, opening up your throat chakra, because there's a lot of, especially healers, that are blocked there. Like, we're not using our voice as much. And for me, I've noticed that, like, when I'm in a place of lack, we'll say, that I'm not really attracting any clients or whatever, and sometimes I'll shift my values or whatever to try to compensate for a client that might want things that don't really resonate with what I do. But it's like, oh, it's money and I need to make money, and so I'm continuously putting on this mask of inauthenticity to then just have work. But it's like, but when, and I think that there's a fear barrier there of just like, well, if I am my complete authentic self, maybe people won't want what I have. But then at the same time, um, when I am my most authentic self, like, I'll be working on a client that has been a massage client that, to me, you never know how people feel about energy work or whatever, but I'll start getting messages or whatever. And like, I'll have this fear of like, well, I don't want to really share this with this person because they might think I'm a weirdo or whatever. And so, but then it's like, once I like push past that barrier of just like, um, this is what I'm sensing or whatever, it always turns out really well, because the person's like, oh my God, that totally makes sense of why I'm holding tension in this area or whatever. And it's not physical, it's emotional, it's held on to a belief, it's these kinds of things. And it's just like, I need to be able to get out of my way to then let spirit flow through me and be my most authentic self. And that's what actually feels good to do.
One other thing I'd like to say about that too is, like, he's talking about, as part of it, is discounting services, and I've done that for a lot of my career. It is coming from the lack. There's not enough people out there that want my services, or whatever the case may be. But when we do that, it creates, resentment for both parties. You're resenting yourself for discounting your services, discounting your value, and then you're like, you didn't even pay what it's worth, so I should, I'm going to keep a little bit of my services back. I'm not going to go all out because I've already discounted my services. And then it creates tension. And especially for healers that are maybe in a personal environment, or even, virtually, if you're teaching courses or whatever, it's coming out, one way or another, you're projecting that energy of resentment. So I think it's really important for us to stay in that authenticity, because you're also telling the universe that you are worth that, right? And so it will attract more and more of the right people. And I think, and I could go on, but this even goes into, attracting your target, your perfect client, right? You don't necessarily want to work with everybody. I know as healers and as spiritual people, we want to help the world, right? But we can help the right people a lot faster and help more of those people if we stay in our lane and are authentic to our message and what we do and our value. And you're going to have a lot less stress and problems working with people if they are the right client, because the ones that want the discount and want to take as much as they can from you are gonna get that. So it's really important to stay in that path.
And
Well,
recognizing, oh, sorry.
yeah,
I was
go ahead.
gonna add in that recognizing the pattern of that, that cycle of overgiving of ourselves and then feeling resentment towards it. Like, we should always be coming from a full cup or overfilling cup so that we can give to others. And a lot of times we have these beliefs and these things within us that are just draining us of what it is that is really what we want to do, and I was just thought that would be add another.
Right. Well, I can add too, as a healer too. I've been medical intuitive for 15 years, and it was always the time thing too. Always giving more time. I feeling like I didn't give enough, so adding another 15, 20 half hour to the session because I need to give more. And I've gotten really good at that, at setting a timer and saying, no, I'm sticking to it. And I can share that, probably a couple of months ago, I said, it's time to raise my prices. I basically have a PhD in energy healing by now. And so some of them I raised significantly and to my value. And I felt really good about it. And I got customers right away. And they were all ones who had the money to pay and recognized my value. And so you attract your consciousness. So where your consciousness lies, if you're in a place where you value yourself and you know you're worth it, you'll attract those people. There's no less people out there. It's just a matter of what you're attracting to you. But you really have to feel good about yourself and feel that you deserve and feel that you're worth it and feel that your services are worthy, and all of those things.
Yeah, and one other thing I think that might tie in with that is, and especially with like Cosmic Pulse, it's kind of an interesting dynamic because it is building and it's all donation based, and so there's a lot of giving, and I have this like block or whatever that prevents me from receiving, and so it's this continuous give, but like no, I can't receive, and it's the cup being full or not kind of thing. um we have to open those channels and make it okay to receive, and even help people understand that. And I think most people that are within this realm understand that money is just energy kind of thing. And so it's even helping your customers realize that that's what it is, right? We're exchanging energy here. And then when it comes to, charging more or whatever for your services or what you are worth, which it's hard to put a price tag on that, let's be honest. But it comes down to how you're speaking in your social media. It's not necessarily your tone. I think confidence and things of that nature are important, and that comes with time. Just practice and practice and practice. I've been doing this on video for 7 years, and so it kind of just flows naturally. But if you have in mind, like you said, when you change your prices, you attracted the people that had the money. So knowing that these people need to have the money, well, who are those people? And so now it's like if I were to say, let me help you build your business from scratch. You haven't even started. Let's start it from scratch. Or let me help you grow and scale your business that's already established, right? So these are business owners that are already in the process. They've had time in business. They understand that there's a process involved in getting to success. So the people just getting started aren't likely to have the money that maybe you want to charge, unless you're, maybe charging a lower ticket. But at that higher ticket, it's important to understand that you need to market to the people that actually have the money, and understand what their fears, wants, desires, things that they've tried in the past, and really get to know them. Because like, it's the resonance in your vibration. The more that you understand your target market, it's like you're having a direct conversation with that person. But you have to really get to know them. And there's a lot of tools out there. I mean, AI is amazing for this kind of thing. And I know some people may be like, oh no, AI. But one thing I will say about that is we have an opportunity to leverage it for the right things. There are going to always be people out there using it for the wrong reasons. But, we have a choice to make, and this gives us speed.
Yeah, it's all these tools are out there, and it's like whether we're actually using it consciously and what we're choosing to use it for. So I mean, like, that's, I think, one of our goals in this is being able to bring this product to people who are consciously aware and can utilize these tools to better themselves and reach the clientele that need their help the most.
So, what do you think are a few musts if you want to get out there and you want to jump in and have a busy practice?
Well, you have to be able to take risks, right? As a business owner, you've already started taking risks. Just by being in business, it's risk, because you're relying on your business to feed you, to put a shelter over your head. So you've already done it, right? So in a way, you've already passed that barrier. But when it comes to like putting yourself out there on social media, it is definitely kind of a scary thing. However, um, I think it's the assumptions that we make about what other people are thinking of us when we create content. And this actually plagued me for a very long time. There were like a few select friends in my high school group that I always constantly worried, and even family members, like, oh, they didn't like my stuff, and so that prevented me from putting myself out there. So I think it's really important to understand what's the bigger picture, what's your vision, and why are you doing this? Is this and making that big enough to overcome, the few people that you might be thinking are making fun of you, which if they are, that's okay. They're just at a different vibration and frequency. So maybe one day they will come around and be like, oh yeah, that I get it now, and we are the examples. So show up, and practice. You don't have to necessarily just create a piece of content and then put it out there. However, that is really the trick, because you're challenging that belief. But one thing that really worked for me in getting over that is going live, because what I would do is try to create a piece of content, and I got this all frameworked out and ready, and then I'd mess it up halfway through, and then I start freaking out, getting angry, starting it over like 10 times. But when you go live, you don't have an option. You just got to let it flow, right? And a lot of us in this realm are aware of channeling. So that's all we're doing. This is all three of us right now are channeling a message. There's no script. We didn't really have a plan. We met 5 minutes before this and just started going with it. And so give yourself less reasons to not do it. Just jump in. And there's one more thing, and I'll let Ian take over. But I went to Flaming Gorge with a friend of mine, and we went cliff jumping in the river and stuff. And so there's this giant cliff, and jumping off of it, I came to this realization. I even created like a formula that I was gonna use for overcoming fear. But fear is, I believe, is spirit, right? It's telling you don't touch that hot stove, or it's telling you, hey, you should probably go do this because it's in alignment with what you've been telling me you wanted. And so, like, when it comes to the cliff, it's excitement. You're excited. You're like, oh, that would be really cool. And then you make the decision and you get closer to it, and the anticipation builds. And as soon as you get to the top, you have a split second to jump off, because if you sit there and think about it, you're not gonna it gets harder and harder. You're thinking of all the possibilities of what could go wrong, and it creates like these emotions, and it's overwhelming, and then you likely not to do it. So get to the edge of that cliff and just go. Just jump.
Yeah. I would think that all of what you said, but also I was thinking about it how for someone starting out would be to meet your fears with authenticity. Like, is it keeping you from danger, or is it you afraid of the unknown? Which the unknown is really just yourself. Like, you would get to know yourself more, stepping into the unknown and being your most authentic self. And I think a lot of, the road to get there is giving yourself grace and forgiveness for the things that didn't work out or may not work out, but at least you stepped into it. You showed up and you found out a little bit more about yourself.
Right.
Another thing that is a must is a system that backs you up. Like, because creating content is great. You get the exposure, you get experience, you get better, but you're you're not sending people to a place that supports the content. And so if you have a system on the back end, like a sales funnel, which is what I teach, is email automations and things of that nature. When you have something like that to support you, it gives you a lot more confidence in your content, because you know that system is going to support you in bringing you clients and following up with them automatically, and really helping them get to know you and your brand and what you're offering, and scheduling them automatically, or whatever, if it's in person or virtual, there's different things that you can do. But and it doesn't have to be a sales funnel. You can simplify it to something as simple as like a Google document, right? But have something that you continuously send people to, so that your content is effective. Otherwise, you're just spinning your wheels. You're chasing your tail the entire time. You just got to consistently create content and never really knowing if it's actually working.
So explain that. I'm not understanding what, like a sales funnel. What do you?
Yeah. So a sales funnel is just like a website, for example, but
Okay.
but it's a process. So I tell people I would never run advertisements or really even send people to a website, because it's like an online brochure where you've got all your links and your about me and all these things which are irrelevant, and it gives people too many options to, go to different tabs, and then you lose them. So it's important. And what I teach is, essentially, you're setting up a process where you're collecting the name and emails, so that in exchange for a free training that also teaches them, or educates them about your offer. And then it has, ways to, based on if they opt in, they give their name and email. If they schedule or not, we're following up with them based on that information. So it just alleviates a lot of the time, because otherwise it's all manual.
Okay. So I have another. So the sales funnel piece. This is something you would um, where do you get the names then? If you still need a website, and so
Um,
because like people subscribe to my newsletter, and then I send out newsletters once a month, and so I get names and phone numbers from that. But how else will you get the names and phone numbers?
well, that's just it. I honestly wouldn't have a website, and not telling
Oh,
anyone to do or don't get rid of it.
uh-huh.
Because it's basically like a business card, right? But the difference is like, especially when you're creating content, you're providing value to your target market. You might have 3 to 5 things to help them, relax better in their meditations and get deeper connection. So you're providing that value, but at the end, you're telling them, if you want to learn more, go to thisdomain.com and for the free training. And so all that traffic is going to that site where they're giving their name and email in exchange for that extended training. So that's how we collect emails. The one thing I would say about like a newsletter, we have one at Cosmic Pulse, because we don't really have a lot of different offers yet. But the I don't know, there's just not a lot of incentive to sign up for a newsletter, because there when I'm exchanging that for a training, for example, it's like, oh, I want to learn more about this, give me access, and now I can follow up with them, for other things or the same thing, or depending on where they're at in that process, I can follow up with them. um, does that make sense at all?
Yeah. Yeah. No. Well, I'm thinking from my perspective, when I do newsletters, I'm offering them healing tools and information energetically about the month, spiritual practices for the month to help them. So I'm
Mhm.
offering quite a bit of things. So it might be different from, if, for someone that like me who does energetic kind of things, as opposed to maybe a massage therapist might not have a lot to offer in a newsletter?
Well, I don't, in like in if when I'm helping people, the newsletter is not even something that I tell them to do.
Okay.
Even in your situation, you might have multiple different things that you offer, and you can still send people like newsletters, because you're building your list, and the list is like the most important aspect of a business, because not everyone's on Facebook, not everyone's on social media, but most people have email. And there's actually a study that was done. Um, like over 90% of people check their email every day. So you're in a place where people are paying attention. And if you have the right process of, and that's why like these cell systems and automations are so important, because they can bring people to other different things that you offer without you having to send out a newsletter every month. However, you can still send out a newsletter, but depending on where they come in to your business, like, you might have like a tarot reading. Well, that first, what they're opting in for is how to understand the 12 different archetypes. And then on after that, it's like, book a call with me so that I can do a personalized reading. And so now, you got their name and email, they've learned something from you, they feel connected to you, you've given them an offer, and then they go do that themselves. And if not, then you have systems on the back end that help them come back and schedule that appointment. So it really supports all the traffic that comes through there.
Oh, you're making me think about my marketing in a new way. I'm probably out of the loop. But I do have a question that I think others might have as well.
Yeah.
I know Facebook works for a lot of people, especially for local events and stuff. And so many of us have a business Facebook page and a personal Facebook page. Do you recommend people just use one, combine the name and go under one name, or keep up two?
I would say the business page, because like what Facebook does is they have machine learning AI. So it's taking the engagement from your posts, as long as you're doing it on the business page, and finding more people that are like the people engaging with your content. But when you're posting on your personal profile, it's not the same. You're kind of limited to your friends group. Um, Now you can do both, might as well, especially because, that you may already be established on your personal profile, and it doesn't hurt to put yourself out there. But in terms of growth, the Facebook business page is essential. And once you get to a point where you can advertise, then um, you already have, kind of some data that you can feed to the meta business advertising platform, and get more of those kinds of people to engage with your content. So yeah, I think it's definitely priority is the business page, but you can always share it to your personal.
Ian, you have anything you want to add around all that?
um, well, I'm pretty new to the business pages and things like that. I haven't gotten the professional Shane to help me with it just yet. But I definitely can speak to the struggles I have run into with that. Um, yeah, I think. Oh.
Is there anything else you want to add around your marketing business that you want to share with everyone?
Yeah. I mean, I could tell you, you can follow us on social media. We have the Sacred ROI on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. And then we are going to be putting out a free training, just like I kind of illustrated, of how I help people set up systems. As we have a system that we're building. It's not complete yet, but you can actually go there and give your name and email and get notified when the free training goes live. And that's at sacredroi.com. So there's not going to be a video there yet, but we will let you know when that's there. And you can kind of go check out how simple, and the layout and the way that the words are put on the page, like how to structure a headline, how to, um, just, I don't know. It gives you kind of a way to see how this works. It's kind of like competitor analysis, which is another important aspect of marketing, is seeing what else is out there, so you're not saying the same thing as everyone else, and it gives you kind of some feedback on how to structure some of your own things. And it's just really good data to have. Is there anything you would like to say, Ian?
Well, I'm just really excited about what it is that we're doing, and how it's. I mean, it's going to help me, but I'm excited to be able to um, get out there and help other people, because that also helps. For us to even see maybe there's a healer or somebody out there that I want to try out. Like might speak to something that I'm going through, and same for Shane. Like I think that it's really good exposure to find a community of healers, which Cosmic Pulse has done a really good job. And so I think that that's really what's kind of prompted this need, seeing that there are so many of us out there and that we all have these amazing gifts that need to be expressed.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Yeah.
awesome. I'm glad you guys are doing what you're doing. I think it's needed in probably more places than just marketing. I would like to see, conscious, lawyers, conscious accounting, conscious, for sure,
Yeah, no
conscious
doubt.
lawyers.
Conscious dentists.
Yeah, so that's fabulous. And then your links will be, in YouTube below and Facebook above. So are you open for me drawing a card for
That
all
would
of
be
us?
Yeah.
wonderful.
Okay, let's see what we bring about. These are the cards of clarity.
Yeah, feeling this eclipse energy.
Ooh, boy. So this, oh man, there we go. It's crystalline ray. And so this is a good one, guys. I'm going to read it for us. So this is for us three and everyone who's listening now or listening later, because there is no such thing as time. We just think it is. You are ascending into the state of knowing. From the moment we were born into this glorious planetary experience, we are ascending in one way or another. Children ascend to become adults, adults ascend through their success, etc. The yoga of self-ascension is the recognition that we are already whole, complete, and present to the love and illuminated presence that we are. You are ascending into the state of knowing that expands beyond being. The way you've been living and expressing is rapidly changing. With this recognition, you are prepared to expand through the greater truths and shifts. Know that you are ready and you are a spiritual pioneer showing the way for others. All are ascending, each in their own unique time and way. Stay focused upon you and the rest unfolds beautifully.
I mean, that couldn't have fit better with
Yeah.
this talk. I mean, spiritual healers, anybody out there that's on this path, that is a message for you. And I feel it's obviously a message for us too, but really internalize that. You're here to share your gifts and show up and break down the barriers that we think that we have, the illusions, and step out there, jump off that cliff. Don't give it any second thought. There's people out there that need your services, and we are definitely here to help you on that as well.
Shine your light.
Awesome. Well, thanks, guys. It was fabulous. And I'm definitely going to have you back because we need to speak about drumming. Drumming
Yes.
is important right now on this planet. And these two have put together a great drumming circle that's grown hugely in Boise and just keeps growing. So we're gonna have a little drumming talk session another time as well.
I would love that.
Yeah.
Yep. And thank you, Geri, for having us on.
Yes. Thank you, Geri.
It's pretty fun.
Absolutely.
It's really, really exciting to get to do this and channel spirit.
Awesome. Okay, everyone, have a fabulous rest of your week and happy
Thank you.
full moon.
Happy
Thank
full
you.
moon.
Thank you. Happy full moon.